on this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk. But that's my point, Q, is that they still think that they hot little mamas and they got it. The reality is that they don't know that the wall was already there. They just still trying to climb over it with no rope. Real talk. Like they don't know yet, but reality is going to set in soon. And it's not going to be nice for them. They just don't know it.
I agree with that. I think the realization of it, right, it's that wall, it's that epiphany, it's that understanding like, oh, this ain't good. And I've been living this way for, I don't know, 8-10 years, right? That was me. I was like, well, I've been doing this for 8 to 10 years and my life is literally looks great on paper, but it's a disaster inside.
As I was stating earlier, it's like women have this wall up, or they've gone through these past traumas and experiences and something like that. And so they feel like they have to be masculine. So I asked the question is, are modern women living in fear? I probably should add a little bit more context to it, but you guys understand that?
You restated the same.
I understand that based on living masculine.
So
having a wall up, how does that correlate?
How does that make you masculine having a wall up?
Yeah.
Or wall up
it just means everybody can't get in. It ain't
wall up,
or you gotta trust somebody to break it.
Right. So how does that make you masculine? Because you're not willing to just let anybody.
Well, I mean, just being aggressive. You know how women sometimes go through these experiences. Are you guys talking to me, or y'all talking to each other?
I don't know.
Yeah, how y'all gonna ask a question and then answer the question for him? Like y'all gotta actually let him answer to give the context. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So there's been situations where a woman has gone through something, right? And they tell themselves, I'm not going through this again. I'm not going through this again. So whenever they get a little bit of what they had in their past that was bad, they become aggressive. No, you can't come over. No. Just so they had this wall up because they're living in fear.
PTSD. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But there can be some other things. I mean, that's just, my example.
Hey, listen, I'm going to just tell you for me, and I'll let everybody else rock. I'm going to be like Kay tonight. I'm never wrong, so I'm standing on my square.
I didn't say that. I said I wasn't wrong on the show because we discuss opinions. Stop doing this.
I just said I'm never wrong.
They are opinions.
They're opinions, so they're not right or wrong. It's our personal.
So women living in fear, Kay.
No, you're not going to keep perpetuating this stereotype and this false narrative that I said I've never been wrong. I've been wrong plenty.
I still don't think that women are living in fear. Because even in that instance, in that situation, like, okay, she put a wall up or whatever, she's still rocking with the same type of person. Like, it's not like she's completely removed herself from the dating scene as a result of the things that she went through in her other relationship. She's still embracing and doing the exact same behavior. She haven't removed herself. She haven't came to any kind of a different result. Most of the time, what you see is women going into the exact same situation, dating the exact same type of guy, going to the exact same type of place that they met the last guy that they met. And they even on the same apps of the dudes that then dusted them off. And then they came back in, you know what I'm saying, and rock with them. So I don't believe, because listen, people could say what they want, but the actions and that speaks much louder. Like, people can always present to you whatever it is that they want to present in order to try to, create the image that they want. But the reality is that the actions is that they keep doing the exact same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's not fear. That's insanity.
Go ahead, Kay.
So, Anton, you brought up a point that I was thinking as well. If you are in fear, that has to be a conscious thing, right? You have to say, like, man, like, you have to have a feeling, because fear is a feeling where you see something maybe as a threat or something that could cause harm or whatever. But if you're doing something actively, that's not you being scared of that thing. That's you having maybe trauma, like I said earlier, and that's a trauma response. That's not the same as fear, because fear has to be something that you No. If you don't know it, it's not fear. If you're just out here living, doing stuff that's maybe toxic or whatever, that's not you being in fear. That's you responding to trauma, maybe. Being
Okay,
in
I know
fear,
you. No,
you would have to
See,
know.
I was rocking with you.
Scared.
I was rocking with you until you start using trauma as your catch-all for anything that absolves people of being responsible for the thing in which they're operating.
Earlier,
trauma is not the catch-all basket that you can use to catch these women.
I said
not all full of trauma. Sometimes they're the ones that's causing the trauma to these guys.
Right.
That's what's really happening.
You're right. Earlier, I mean, the reason I brought up trauma just now, because earlier I brought up trauma and social conditioning, but JR talked about like a woman who is like, no one can come over, like after like something happened. He brought that kind of example up. So that's why I was saying it was a trauma response. That's why I was addressing that. But absolutely, it don't have to be like a trauma response. It could be just purely, oh, my friends and family support this, so I'm doing it, or I'm gonna, be this, or whatever. You can always find your group that supports you.
I know y'all ain't in fear. That's all I know. It ain't a woman on this panel that's in fear at all.
Well, Anton, let me ask you this: would you say the women on this panel, because you made a statement earlier that they don't get to the place of fear until they hit the wall. So would you say they haven't hit the wall yet?
No, they don't. See, that's the thing, Rilla. Women don't know that they hit the wall until men let them know. That's the thing about it, is that sometimes they think that they still got it. Yo, we was at the bar the other night though. We was at the bar the other night, Rilla, and I put that junk on my story on Instagram, and I seen so many women that was looking like SpongeBob in there. Honestly, they were all looking like SpongeBob, but if you seen the way that they was moving, you would think that they was 22 and they was shaking and they looked good. And
that's
all
confidence.
That. No, it was. Well, maybe it was, but that's my point, Q. Is that they still think that they hot little mamas and they got it. The reality is that they don't know that the wall was already there. They just still trying to climb over it with no rope. Real talk. Like they don't know yet, but reality is going to set in soon, and it's not going to be nice for them. They just don't know it.
I agree with that. I think the realization of it, right, it's that wall, it's that epiphany, it's that understanding, like, oh, this ain't good, and I've been living this way for, I don't know, 8-10 years, right? That was me. I was like, well, I've been doing this for 8 to 10 years, and my life is literally looks great on paper, but it's a disaster inside.